Alright, this is going to be my demo guide, and I just messed up a recording, so I'm gonna jump straight into things while it's fresh in my mind. Let's start with Demo's abilities. So really, the main crux of Demo is his passive. So for every time you fire an ability, you generate 1 stack, and for every enemy hit by that ability, you get 1 stack. Up to 10 stacks for a 25% damage boost, and those stacks automatically expire after 15 seconds. So what this means is your passive damage is very inconsistent compared to, say, Gunner, who you just shoot a target and boom, you get 20%. So that combined with a rifle and a heavy, which aren't the highest DPS weapon types, kind of has Demo in a bit of a odd place just out the gate. So the only core thing I think every demo should really have is quick and dirty. So what this does is when those stacks expire after 15 seconds, however many you had, or whether you used another ability to consume them early, this will give you 1 second of cooldown reduction for both of your abilities. So this is really strong. Now, with that said, there's kind of 2 philosophies that you can kind of look at this from. So the first one is, in order for your rockets to be used every 15 seconds to generate clear the room, you need to invest like a hefty amount of cooldown reduction to be able to reach that. And that's because the formula or whatever it is for the rockets or for cooldown reduction is what's the word? When it says 50%, it really means like minus what will it be, like 33%. I'll throw a math picture up that can explain it better than I can, but the rocket's base cooldown is 30 seconds, and I fire them, and it's 20 seconds, and that's with, you know, or it was 19 seconds, and that's with a 60% cooldown reduction. Alternatively, however, we can just use the new precision rockets, and boom, we now have a 15-second cooldown out the gate. And really, this is the main reason why the precision rockets are just so damn popular. Out the gate, how many tiles did I use? It was 4, 10 tiles to get a 19-second cooldown, whereas with this, 3 tiles, boom, 15 seconds. And this, combined with clear the room, is just really strong. It increases your weapon damage. You can extend that to increasing the rocket damage themselves. You can of course take bigger and better to hit more targets. You were going to take it anyway on the standard rockets because they don't one-shot kill unless you're hitting the explosion from multiple rockets is hitting the target. And then you just save so much room. Like, you can take all of this now instead of having to take cooldown reduction, which is huge. So yeah, that's really the main reason why precision rockets are so popular at the moment. And if you're taking fire and forget, you don't really even need armed and dangerous, unless maybe you're going up against the queen. The other option you can do, of course, is you're looking at a big investment, you know, that's 12 tiles. You can just go the CC route, which is kind of what we did with Gunner, right? We didn't put loads of damage and investment on Gunner. We just put, not shrapnel, we just put concussive blasts or blastwave on, and for the knockdown. Same principle here. We just throw the CC on, and we kind of call it a day. We could maybe throw on fire and forget, since we're going to be taking longer to kill stuff. That bleed might actually be important, or the 25% extra damage could come in handy with our weapon of choice. But other than that, we're committing very little to the rockets. So yeah, those are kind of the two ways of using the rockets. The only thing I'll say is the napalm ones are pretty bad because their AoE explosion is very small, so you don't generate very many stacks. They do way less damage than the regular rockets. These will one-shot runners out of the gate just with bigger and better. They don't need any extra damage. As long as runners are caught in 2 explosions, they'll die. Whereas with napalm, they will very often live, and then the fire on the floor to kill stuff just doesn't last very long. And why would you put fire on the floor for stuff to jump on the wall and avoid when you can just kill them outright? So with all of that said and done, for blastwave, you don't need too much to make blastwave work. Honestly, the only thing I normally put on it is extra radius, and that's because if you're not the host, it can be very spooky trying to use this thing aggressively, which is how I use it. If there's a drone you want to use this on, you're gonna have to be in kissing range to get this to work. So having a bit more area to work with is going to be really helpful. And then you can either go for this setup with the enhanced reach 1 and 2 for 20%, or if you're going the concussion route, you can just throw bigger and better on. After that though, you do have quite a lot of room to play with. I'm just going to quickly go to that setup we had earlier with the precision rockets. So obviously, if you're investing a lot into the rockets, it's going to cut down on the amount of room you have for your weapon buffs. So normally you're going to have about 13, or no, it's not that, yeah, 13 tiles to work with, and that is basically going to leave you enough room for down and out and some upgrades for your heavy weapon. What's it called? The 2 I took. These two just both give 15% fire rate, and then another 2 slot where you could take the extra damage and explosive radius. If you have an explosive weapon, I'd recommend this. Or reactive charges is also very good. I don't know if I'd recommend jackpot, because without a shotgun I don't find myself getting the last hit on things too often. Reactive charges is very good though. This will work if you iframe. If you dodge an attack that was going to hit you, it will still trigger this, which can be really good because you take no damage and it's a free blast wave. However, the other ones leave less to be desired. But that is just one example build. You could buff your rifle instead, but I do find the heavy weapons do better with a bit of love. Speaking of which, for the heavy weapons, the main things you want to look at really is for your muzzle. If you have a large muzzle, you can obviously take advantage of the extra CC from the tanker muzzle or the anti-material break. The Miller twist is a huge 50% slow. This is honestly like so good. This gives you so much time to kill elites, which you're gonna need because demo just doesn't quite have as much damage as some of the other perks. So getting extra time to kill stuff is really important. If you're playing with a DPS comp, like you have a gunner and like a technician, or you have a gunner and a bloodhound drone, sure, polygonal is starting to look a lot better, but I think Miller twist is just so good, and I don't see enough people talking about how good it is. Everyone always says polygonal, but oh my lord, that 50% slow is huge, especially versus elites and versus the queen. It's just can't beat it. For your rifle, I have been leaning more towards DMRs just because they're pretty ammo efficient. You can normally like 2 to 3 shot kill most runners, and they just these weapons are just very ammo efficient. I find something like the Kramer would be a bit sketch because heavy weapons just have really small ammo pools. Like when you load into a game, most of your weapons are gonna have like the magazine in it and then like 2 reloads worth of reserve ammo. So, or actually no, they'll have 1.5 in the case of the smart gun and minigun even. So ammo can be a real concern with the heavies. So for your rifle, I would definitely look at weapons with bigger ammo pools. And that's kind of it really. I'll just quickly run through what I actually use. So this was changed earlier from my last recording. So this is obviously a heavy pulse and a twilight, so I've not taken loud and clear. Oh sorry, I've not taken fire and forget. And I've taken armed and dangerous instead, just for a little bit extra rocket damage, so I can one-shot those runners. For CC, so obviously Miller twist, tanker muzzle, and then this is with concussive rockets, fire and forget, down and out, and then I've taken a whole load of extra weapon trainings. This is because we're just not going to get much use from clear the room. I did put a lot of radius on blastwave, so when I run up and use that, I can hit a lot of targets. But honestly, in this case, I probably would be getting a lot of use out of assault and battery, but it's kind of awkward to get it to fit. So I just went with a whole load of range, and ideally, you shouldn't need to have this off cooldown again really fast, because the concussive rockets is your next blast wave. You know, you have 2 knockdowns in 30 seconds. This is just I think this is this new precision rocket with fire and forget with a thunderbolt, and then in this case I've also taken the extra radius and damage. And then for the queen I do things a tiny bit differently. So obviously this is built for the queen herself. So down and out is gone for hit and run. We want hit and run because we just want that movement speed. For the rockets, I've obviously taken fire and forget because the bleed is what's going to be killing the queen, and with when I'm shooting her by herself, I'm not going to be getting much value from quick and dirty at the end, so I've got some extra cooldown reduction. This should allow me to shoot every 10 odd seconds, so I'm not losing too much time. And then I've also got armed and dangerous. So the extra stacks that I get from clear the room, if I have any, will then affect the abilities, which then affects fire and forget, I believe. I see a lot of variation in my bleed damages, but I have seen with a bloodhound on the queen, I have seen numbers exceeding 25,000 damage a tick, so you can definitely get some numbers, and that has come at the cost of some of blastwave's radius, which is unfortunate. But honestly, as long as we keep on top of the ads, we don't need blastwave too much, and there's no drones on this mission either, so hopefully that's made sense, because I've now been talking about demo for an hour to myself. And in the next video I'm going to go over Technician, who's also going to be a longer video as well, because he's got a couple of different ways of playing and building him. But yeah, hopefully this has helped some of you out, and maybe given you some direction, or just given you a build that you can pick up and play with.